Good morning, everyone. I just want to again make one more shout out to our players just quickly about the community service and community outreach. Unbelievable this past weekend and leading up to Tuesday. Obviously, at the time of the year, right when people are celebrating the holidays and everything, and having family around. And there's some people that that are in some struggles, and our people do a great job. Our players do a great job. The staff does a great job with that, including Montez was out there this yesterday. DJ, Jalen Johnson, Tremaine Edmonds, and Justin Fields. We're all out there working, and it was pretty cool to see. I always exhibit that and show that in our team meeting today on Wednesday. But this week, in terms of our preparation, similar to in terms of the Wednesday practice as of last week, like I said, the numbers were good from performance staff, and it's going to be a half and half practice. So we'll start out, we'll get the stretch in, and we'll do our individual. We opened up the individual a few minutes, just to work on those fundamentals we talked about on Monday and how we can improve on that. Each coach has detailed that out, game-like drills, game-like speed, and how we're going to improve on those things. So and then after that, we'll be in helmets during that time, and then we'll do half walkthrough at that time. We'll actually get more reps in the walkthrough reps, and the walkthroughs are so important that the look squad does a great job, to give us the looks, and we really focus on the details of that, of how we lock blocks out, how we finish B blocks, all the things that you do in the run and the pass to make sure those things are game-like reps. Feet, hands, and eyes before the whistle, and even fitting things up. So they do a really nice job with that. Thursday will be, again, first, second, and third down. We'll focus on a lot of areas that we have during that time of improvement. We implement those during the practice. For example, punt and pin is in there, sudden change is in there, 2 minute, 4 minutes at the end. We got a competition period in the red zone, third down. So those are the things that we focus on, a few of them. And we'll obviously focus on more as we go through Fast Friday, and then we'll work into Saturday, into our walkthrough there onto the game. So again, the importance of us locking in, having our eyes forward. You're moving on to this week, regardless of what happened last week. Could we winning by 15, winning by 20, or losing by a few? We have to have our eyes forward and focused on the here and now, and be planted where our feet are. But with that, I'll open up to questions.
Matt, when you look back at the tape from the Browns game and then are looking to prepare for this Cardinals game, what's the one area the offense needs to improve the most?
Yeah, I would just say, really, when you look at the, staying ahead, being ahead of things, and that's what running the football and having, good control passing will do. And how do you do that? Well, it's through the design, right, the execution, and being ahead of it. We're good when we have, in every offense. I could say this about every offense. They're good when they have manageable third downs, or they're first down, second down, first down, not even getting to third down. So it's important that we move the chains that way and do a really good job that way.
Along those lines, how do you assess the running game as a whole when the carries were split essentially evenly between Roshan, Khalil, and Deonta?
Yeah, like I said, it's really about this week and focusing on how we're attacking the Cardinals. It's a different structure than last week. So it's going to be important that we move to that type of structure in our style that we have going against that structure. And we've went against this structure a few times. A couple divisional opponents play with that. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
Has Tevin cleared concussion protocol yet, or is he still?
He's still in. He's still in. And again, that process is in place. The league has put that in place for a good reason. And he's still in that process right now.
Matt, I know the focus that you put on situational football. Do you have a handle on how, second half of the fourth quarter, I think you've overcome a deficit once on offense to win a game. Do you have a sense for why in those have-to-have-it moments it's not clicking the way you'd like it to?
Yeah, you look at that, because, obviously we've done it well, during this year at times, right? The Carolina game, we did a nice job, the Minnesota game, and then the Detroit, that come to mind, the second one, so when you do it right, what are you doing there? Well, you're taking care of the football, right? You're converting on third and fourth downs, right? And then you're handling the situations and finishing with the ball in your hand, and that's the critical moments. And a lot of times you're getting explosives. You go back to the Minnesota game, big explosive at the end. and you're getting those. And it's the same thing on defense, the opposite on defense. You know the ball, obviously taking the ball, it will be premium in the fourth quarter. Finishing with the third and fourth downs, and stopping those and spitting the ball back to our offense is huge. And then eliminating explosives. That's what the criticalness of the fourth quarter and how you execute and how you operate there. And then it just comes down to the guys executing the call when they get the call. And it being a good call in terms of its scheme, in terms of the setup of it.
And I know that there's a belief that experience in that situation helps on offense. But when you look around the league this year especially, Tommy DeVito, the kid with the Seahawks the other night, Jake Browning, guys who move the ball down and score at the end. Do you have a sense for why that has been successful in a way that maybe it hadn't been in previous years?
Yeah, I mean, it's I know that's a hard question to answer. It's just like I said, it's about play to play, right? You'd have to ask me about a play and say, okay, what about this play? What about that play? I guess I can be more detailed there, but it comes down to the play and then executing the play.
It just feels like experience in that situation isn't a prerequisite for success. And do you think that's fair?
I mean, I bet if you look at the body of work, I bet it would be. I bet you would see some mistakes. You would see things that weren't correct. But again, in the criticalness of the moment, certainly with the situations you're talking about, they made the play.
Matt, to stick with that, a specific play from, they tied the game at 17, you guys got the ball back, and the first play of that drive was a toss to Khalil that didn't hit. What was your assessment of the play call, and then what went wrong to obviously put you behind the sticks pretty early on that drive?
Yeah, whenever you're talking about perimeter plays, it could be a toss play, it could be a jet sweep, it could be, any type of play that goes on the perimeter, and you're talking about from the backfield, it's always going to come out down to the point of attack. You have to win the point of attack there. And, they had 95 there, obviously a really good player. He ended up beating us to the punch on that one, and that's what really ended up messing that play up. So you have to be really good at the point of attack on those, and on that particular play we weren't.
Was Garrett just too quick off the snap there, or just too slow on your side?
It was a combination. Really good player and made a nice play.
What kind of challenges does facing a mobile quarterback like Kyler Murray present to the defense, and how much different is it when you're game planning for that?
Yeah, it's a big difference. Obviously from last week and even the week before that. So the set of challenges there is with him is that we obviously played him in the past, and a lot of our guys have played against him, and we'll be able to keep him in the well or in the shoe there, so to speak, and that's difficult to do. He's very athletic, he's very quick. And you have to have a plan for him for sure, and you have various ways of doing that. To answer your question, you rush forward, you have a guy looking for him. You might have two guys looking for him. You might game up your rush, trying to move him a certain way, have somebody waiting for him. There's a bunch of different things, pressures that are well pressures we call them. So there's a lot of ways you can do it.
Matt, offensively, your working relationship with Luke, how much interjecting is there from you and how much delegating is there? Just say, well, this is Luke's field, I'm gonna defer to his expertise.
Yeah, and I talked about that on Monday a little bit briefly, and I'll go back to what I said there. During the week, of course, when we're doing first and second down, moving through third down into the red zone, I'm always interjecting ideas and looking at the plan and making sure that we're on point in terms of the protections, in terms of the routes, in terms of the run game, and all those areas. And then during the game, same thing. The same thing during critical downs. We'll meet on the headset. Hey, it's a green light here on this 4th and 1 to 4 or 4th and 1 in the quad zone or wherever it might be. What are the plays? He gives me a few plays, that we've already talked about on Saturday of those critical downs. And, I might say, hey, I like that one over this one, you feel confident about that? Yes, I feel great about it, and then we go with it. But there's constant communication during the course of the week and constant communication during the game.
Matt, to that point, with the improvement of the defense this year, there's been a little bit more focus on Luke Getsy and the offense, at least from the outside, as a culprit for the way things have gone this year. What's your analysis of where this offense is right now relative to the expectations at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, in a whole, in terms of the expectations, you want to focus on what we're going to do this week, and we've had some improvements during the course of the year on all sides of the ball, and it's critical that we focus on being the best we can be this week, against this opponent right here, right now, and have our feet right here.
But does any part of you as a head coach take a look at kind of big picture and say, hey, where are we going, where
Oh,
are we heading? I mean, isn't that part of the job?
No question, no question. And again, we're gonna assess all those things at the end, and again, we gotta play these games right here, right now. So we're gonna focus on being our best, when our best is required, and that's required today, right today.
How would you assess Luke in particular, what he's done in his role as OC?
Yeah, I love Luke. He's a great leader, in terms of the room, and then, like I said, I'll evaluate everything at the end. We're constantly evaluating things every single day. So today after practice, like normal, we'll meet, we'll talk about this play, that play. Hey, we like this one. Let's try to do it this way, or let's make this correction there. So it's constant communication, like I said, during the course of the week and then into the game.
What did you guys like about promoting Robinson to defensive end on Sunday, and how do you think he played?
Good. Yeah, he really did. He played well in the run game. Obviously everything starts with hustle and effort. He did a nice job. His intensity was good. I think it was 19 plays, I want to say. So he gave some good reps there to give the other guys some blow, and it was solid.
Then Walker's on the field a little more than he had been
Mhm.
as well. How did he hold up, do you think?
He was good. Walker's been good. He's had his pressures. He's a bull rusher, and he does a really good job with that. And he has a nice play off of that. The other thing that I wanted to mention before in the beginning, that Walker did tweak his leg a little bit during the game, and he will not practice today. But he's going to do walkthrough. He's engaged in the walkthroughs. We need another day to assess, and he's day to day right now. But it looks to be good. So I want to make sure I mention that.
Matt, the interception that Tyreek made, what does that tell you about where he's at in his development?
Just the game is slowing down for him, and I told him that. There's two plays that come to mind when you talk about Tyreek, and that's one of them. The game slowed down. We talk about sudden change, in the game, and I gathered all the guys right there, before they went out, and I just reminded them, hey, this is sudden change. What do we do in sudden change? Well, we're going to go 3 and out. We're going to block the kick, or we're going to get a takeaway. That's our mindset. And sure enough, he made a great play, and that was a great play by Tyreek. The ability to focus, and dive for that, and be able to, and also remind himself that he's in pro football to get up, and go, which was, I reminded him of that. He did a nice job. And then really the interception by Maine. If you watch that play, instantaneous reactions and jumping on the offense in terms of setting the wall return. He did a really good, what we call a hit by. He was in position there. He could have blocked the guy in the back, so he really hit by him. In terms of scraping the paint with that defender to not foul on that return, and he did a really nice job.
And at the end of the first half,
Last one.
you had one of your most encouraging drives of the day, getting out from inside the 5, driving it down, almost, getting it toward field goal range. I'm curious what your assessment of was in terms of the game management and situation of getting the ball to where you got it to, and then at the end, was there anything in your eyes missing that prevented you from getting those 8 to 10 more yards?
Yeah, it was, and again, it always comes down to chunk plays. You get a couple chunk plays. It's a run of 10, or a pass over 16 is how we measure it. But it's, we got a few of those, and that's what gets you in position. And then managing that situation at the end. I think Getsy had a really good design. In terms of the follow route, behind DJ, and the slant route there by Mooney. And we just got to make that connection. And if we make that connection right there, we're going to be right where we need to be.
What didn't allow that connection to hit in that particular spot there from your eyes?
Yeah, there was a defender that jumped up in the air that made Justin kind of clutch it down a little bit. And then, the throw right there, he sidearmed it. And we just got to make that play at that point.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Go ahead, you ready?
Yeah, if you don't mind. In your role of trying to manage the immediate of needing wins, but also looking at the big picture, like Mark mentioned.
Okay.
What is the line for you between, as far as emphasizing playing the younger players a lot over these last 3 games now that you're 5 and 9?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jason. And I will say this, that we love playing young players, right? Because we believe in the guys that we drafted. They're tough-minded, they're talented, and the guys that are ready to play that show it in practice will play in the game. And that's how we always assess it, and that's how we're going to do it. That's why Smitty's played. That's why Tyreek's played. That's why, obviously we're going to play Darnell. He's a high draft pick, and he's done well, just like we did with all the guys we did last year. So the first and second year players for us, as they continue to develop, are doing really well, along with the free agents that we've acquired. So that's our mindset.